Welcome to 17 Strong. Victories don't come by accident. Here's your host, Steve Teixeira.
Thanks, Andy. Welcome to another 17 Strong podcast. We are on location, continue in Grand Junction, Colorado, and we are honored today to have the head coach and the assistant coach, right?
Associate head coach.
Associate head coach. Oh, yeah, I knew there was a title change there.
Titles.
So we have Chris Hanks and Sean McKinney. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
This was a special weekend that we happened to be here.
Yeah.
You guys played the number 3 team. You took the series, which is amazing. And Coach Hanks, you were honored with your 1,000 win. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the first coach to ever do
It's
it.
in history, yeah.
This young, is that?
Fastest.
Oh, fastest.
Fastest, which is amazing. So how many years have you been coaching?
This is my 25th.
25th year coaching.
Yeah. And that includes the COVID year, the suspended year that we got. How many? 20 games in, 18 games in, something like
Right.
that.
Okay.
It probably would have been faster
It might have been.
with the COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true because
that's
it put everybody on hold.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's just
then,
weird.
Sean, how long have you been coaching?
This is my 15th year coaching here. So yeah, they're starting to pile up.
And then he played here.
I also played here.
You
So
So you played here and then you became a coach.
yeah, so 18, I guess. I've been here 18 years.
Oh.
And did you play under Coach Hanks?
I played for Coach Hanks. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It feels like a lifetime ago.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
It's
just
weird.
like yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a weird feeling.
Yeah.
It feels weird. I mean, it's
Yeah.
thinking about coming here when I first stepped on campus and trying out and working out for him, and then to now, I mean, everything's so different. And
Yeah.
it's amazing how long it's been.
Yeah.
It is.
You guys have a brand new facility.
Yeah, we do.
This is the first actual season in a full play?
With it mostly finished. Last year we were forced into playing in it before it was ready because over at Simplesio Field they had the crane accident that crushed the construction. They were redoing that. And so when we first opened it up and started playing, we had cement trucks beeping and backing up during games.
Oh, gosh.
We had welders in the stands with sparks going, and we're playing a game, and they had only opened the lower bowl the first, I guess, few weekends.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Well, and it's a beautiful facility.
It really is.
And hopefully we can show some pictures online of
Yeah.
what it looks like. It is amazing, especially for where you've come from. You had a beautiful facility,
Yes.
but this being on your own campus, I mean, this is like,
Yeah, this is ours.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I
And
think
you like it.
yeah, we're pretty fortunate. I mean, the university took care of us, and
Yeah.
I think that the way that Coach Hanks worked with the university and the vision of it,
Mhm.
I mean, it's just amazing. It's one of the best college baseball atmospheres around, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's beautiful.
I agree.
And it's very fan friendly. The pitch of the stands and the proximity to the field. It's really a unique environment.
It is. You
Yeah.
feel like you're part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's so special about Grand Junction, about Colorado Mesa University, is the way everybody's included. I mean, I love coming here. Ryan, he never got to graduate from here, but he loved the school. He loved the way he felt when he was at the school.
Mhm.
We love the people here and everything about it. And I think it says a lot, the way the college has taken care of really all of athletics. I mean, you guys are one of the number 2 or number 1 Division II programs in the nation.
Yeah.
I think right now we just looked up before going on air. You're number 4 right now.
Five.
Number 5
That's in the coaches poll.
in the coaches.
The
poll.
news writers poll, I don't know if it's out yet.
Yeah, but just
That's awesome.
amazing. I mean, you guys year after year are always in the top 10 across the nation,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
Yeah, we have been from some time. It's a result of a lot of people working really hard and
Yeah,
a lot of support from the school and a lot of great student athletes that we've been able to coach.
yeah, and you do, and you have quite a few of them in the pros right now.
Yeah, we do.
Bly's still hanging in there, and let's see, Sergio Romo
He
Just retired.
just retired.
Just retired.
Yeah,
15 years in the major leagues, and we got Well, Bly made his major league debut last year. He's in AAA right now with the Astros, and then Kyle Leahy's in AAA with the St. Louis Cardinals, and Reagan Todd's in AAA with the
Oh, that's right.
Rockies.
Wow.
And then we have Caleb Farmer out there in advanced single A. Hayden McGarry's on a tear in advanced A in South Bend, Indiana. And then Spencer Bramwell's in Jupiter, Florida, in the Florida State League.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's a great program.
It's a great
It's a
one.
great
Yeah,
program.
for sure.
So we'd like to know. So obviously you signed Ryan. You saw Ryan. Tell us about that. How did Ryan even get on your radar?
Well, we have close relationships with a lot of coaches across the country, and one of the groups that we work with a lot is a team out in California that you guys obviously know about, the SoCal Giants. And they were originally the SoCal Cardinals, and then they
Mhm.
changed over to the Giants. And so we had recruited another player from there, Garrett Ball, who's Ryan's best friend. And we had talked with Ball and got him kind of wrapped up, and then they said, "Hey, we got this other guy who's a year younger. His name's Ryan Teixeira. You need to check him out." I'm like, "Okay, great." And then saw some video and everything, and got on the phone. We actually talked with you guys a couple times, and then we had a chance to go see, Ryan out in California, or it was in Arizona. It was in Peoria,
Yep.
out at Peoria,
Yep.
and obviously loved him. Loved you guys. Very infectious people. It was just great to be around you guys.
That's my wife's side.
Yeah, I know. We knew you guys.
Yeah.
We knew we wanted to be around you guys, and it was going to be a good fit. Ryan was athletic. He was a good ball player, and he's Coach Hanks is great about letting us go out there and recruit and see the guys that we like, and then we all kind of meet up and go over things. And we usually like the same guys.
Mm.
We both know what we like, and so Ryan was right there with that, and so it just all comes together. I mean, you talk to so many families throughout a year,
Yeah.
and then you guys came out on the visit, and I think we all clicked right away. I mean, I remember the whole visit very vividly, and we hung out, and we went to the mall, and we went up in the monument, and we did a lot of things, went to dinner.
Yep.
I mean, it was just special, and I think that you get a feeling with families right off the bat, and it was a great feeling from our side, and we knew we enjoyed you guys, and we were sure lucky to have you guys here.
Yeah. We knew it right away too. I mean, it was Ryan had D1 offers, he had D2 offers, and he felt so at home here. And yes, Garrett was a big plus, but when we came and we visited, and there was hunting nearby, there was fishing nearby, there was snowboarding nearby, he felt right at home. I mean, he loved you both right away. And it was a testimony to the program about what you guys have done. And it's more than baseball. You guys are,
Yeah.
making these young men into men to be productive members of society. Because not everybody gets to fulfill that dream of being, a professional athlete. And you guys are really instilling in them, look, you go play your heart out and get a degree, get an education, because somewhere down the line, you're going to end up in the workforce.
Right.
And, you're going to be a dad. And by the way, congratulations.
Thank
Yep.
you.
We just heard.
Thank you.
A new dad.
Number 2.
Times
Yeah.
2.
Number
That's
2.
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yep.
awesome.
And Coach Hanks, your kids are all, well, 2 of them go, 3 of them go here.
All
Got
three
a
of them.
freshman, sophomore, and junior in college
That's
here
right.
at Colorado
That's
Mesa.
so crazy.
That's right. It's
So
hard
crazy.
to believe.
Yeah.
I mean, we've known you since they were all in high school.
Yep.
Wow, they were a couple of them were
Middle school.
Yeah.
Middle
Middle
school,
school. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask because Ryan signed his letter of intent in November and got diagnosed in April, April 19th to be completely exact. And what was that phone call like? Because I don't know it. I was in my own world. I want to know because I don't know if Ryan called you, if Steve called you. All I know is the end result. So what was that conversation like?
You start.
Well, yeah, it was. We couldn't believe it, and then it was just, it was shocking, and then a feeling of, well, what do we do in terms of how do we make this journey a little easier, because that's a pretty traumatic thing for a high school kid and a family, any family.
Yeah.
That's my take on how I remember it.
I mean, same thing with me. It was, you hear news like that, and when it's so close to you, all you want to do is try to be as supportive as possible. And no one knows how that feels until you actually have it happen to you. And so, I think that, like Coach Hank said, we just tried to do the best we could to be supportive, whatever you guys need, create an environment where, you guys are welcome, he's welcome anytime. What can we do for the players that know Ryan? And just set up some sort of structure that we can all communicate
Right. Right.
and somehow get through it, because, there's nothing that you can do to make it better
No.
except just be supportive and, try to, like I said, create an environment where everyone can talk and feel welcome.
And realistically, you guys didn't even really know Ryan that well. I mean, you may have met him
Right.
but you didn't really know him that well.
Right.
So you're kind of going on a feeling and I think once he got here is when you really got to know him. But yeah, he did have to take that whole semester off because he had 9 months of really intense treatment.
Right.
So basically,
And you guys did something that you didn't have to do. You kept his scholarship intact.
Yep.
You kept his position open and available. Had that been, a UCLA, a Stanford, a Hawaii, any big school, they would have said, "Sorry, you can't be here."
yeah.
Hope you get well. But you guys went over and above,
Which
it
might have been a small thing for you,
but it was huge.
huge to us.
Yeah,
Absolutely
huge.
huge on our part
You know.
because he was already being, it was hard news to take. And then he's like, well, wait, I still have my scholarship. And let me tell you, he hung on to that. He hung on to those words.
That was his hope.
That was his hope. That was,
Right.
I mean, he told every doctor, I am going to college in January. So all this stuff has got to be wrapped up. Like, I got to get this thing out of here.
Yeah.
I got to get this done. Told everybody. And, he did really well through treatment. But the last treatment was the hardest. He ended up in the hospital, ended up, neutropenic, fever, the whole 9 yards. And he's like, I don't care. I need to get to college. I'm good.
He was determined.
So his last treatment was 2 weeks. 2 weeks before he literally moved in to the dorm. So I don't know what you guys were expecting, but it was really hard for a mom to leave her kid that I was with for 9 months every single day, and of course he's an adult, but really, is he? He's only 18, So I remember when he took his CMU card. Do you guys ever remember seeing that?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah, I do.
I almost lost it. And he did not care. He walked these halls so proudly. He was so excited to be here. I remember he gave me 1 hour to help him with his dorm. And then he's like, you're out. And so I took his key. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I took his key when he went to practice and got kicked out. And he's like, I am here like 3 hours and you're causing problems. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to have the car. I was just helping. I was just trying to help. But anyway, it was crazy. At that point I knew. And the minute we got here, he literally cut ties with Steve and I. Like, I'm not here for you. I'm here to be a baseball player. I'm here to bond with these players. He didn't want to go to dinner with us. He didn't want to talk to us. He was on his own.
Yep.
And I respected that. Because that's something that you want for your kids. But you got to understand, I have a kid with cancer, had cancer, and looked very sick. So anyway.
So you started him off as a medical red shirt, right?
Yeah. But before that, the thing I remember most clearly is being at our first team dinner at Canna Creek, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Ryan showed up and met with the team. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and he was bald.
And he was all bald.
He's all bald.
And then,
That's the first
how
time.
our guys, we all knew we were in anticipation of him was coming. The guys all knew he was coming. And then that's where I think he first met everybody, was at Canna Creek, I think.
And
Yeah.
didn't you guys do a game or some type of thing that you passed the ball and then they had to talk? Do you ever remember this?
Oh,
You
we might
passed
have.
the ball.
We do a bunch of different teams.
Okay.
We might
Yeah,
have.
we might have done that. I mean, we've done so many of those things.
And then they had to like say something about themselves or whatever.
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
He's like, I knew as soon as I walked into that room, I was getting the ball. I knew it because I was the new guy. I was the bald one and everybody wanted to, and they want to know, like, what's this kid like? Is he going to be down in the dumps or is he going to be, a a good leader, a good person, a good player. Like, what do you have to bring to the table? And at his defense, he really didn't have much to bring to the table, but he was motivated to get there.
Well, I think we all know by now, but Ryan's attitude was so infectious, and so even though right away, like, he was going to get the ball and we weren't sure how he was going to be, just his personality, I mean, he kind of radiated the positivity that he always had. And I think we saw that right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew it. I think that, for Coach Hanks and I mean, we got to know it through recruiting, but then for the team to feel him and the way he was important, and like you guys said, the scholarship thing, I mean, Coach Hanks handles all the scholarships and the money, and that wasn't even a hard conversation or even a big deal. I mean, Ryan had his scholarship. We were never taking that away, and he does such a good job with that stuff. I mean, that wasn't even a question for us that Ryan was going to get that. And like I said, with his attitude and the way he goes about things, it was easy for the team to welcome him. I don't think it was even shocking. I mean, he just fit right in.
Yeah. So if I were to ask you, like, describe Ryan's personality, tell me what you would say.
Go ahead.
I want to hear it from both of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like I said, he was infectious. I mean, he radiated positivity. I would say he beamed. I mean, he was just always so fun to be around, so positive. We talk about people that can light up a room when they walk in it. And, as soon as he walked in the room, it puts a smile on your face and you're excited to see him. And so that's how I remember him. I mean, he was just so positive and so excited to be out there. Didn't want to be treated differently, wanted to be treated just like everybody else. And I think naturally, that just happens as you kind of want to feel him out a little bit. And,
Sure.
and he was very, serious about, hey, don't treat me any different. And I know Coach Hanks has some stories about that, but yeah,
I want to hear that.
I want to
story.
hear
he
that
was just
story,
so positive. Yeah, this would be a good time for that story.
Well, I could sum it up pretty simply. He was just completely authentic. That'd be the best way I could describe it simply. But there was something where he felt I should have yelled at him.
He's taking BP, right?
Yeah, and he wanted to make sure.
We had a full-on conversation behind the scenes. So you probably don't know it, but he had a conversation with Steve and I, and then I think his roommate Will, and he was like, "I am sick of these guys treating me different," and he was like, "I'm gonna make." And I think Will's the one that encouraged him. You need to go talk to Coach Hanks, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I might. I think I might." And correct me if I'm wrong. He came into your office and he said, "Don't treat me like a pussy."
That's what he said. I don't know if we can say that
Well,
on air.
we can say whatever we want. 17 strong. That's what he said. That's
Yeah,
the type
that
of
is
person
correct.
that he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Well,
like,
and from a coach's standpoint, you're dealing with an 18-year-old kid who's been through a very traumatic
Yep.
thing, and he's weak. He's not to full strength.
right.
And, so you have to manage some expectations and understand this is a process, getting strength back and different things. And you certainly don't want to tear a kid down on the front end of coming back from something. It's a little hard to know
Yeah.
how to navigate. You're not
Yes,
liking
and
that
he
answer.
pretty
No, it's
much-
great. It's a great answer. I agree with you.
And it's like, yeah, I'm not going to, make this any harder than it already is. And then
Sure.
Ryan came in and said, "Don't treat me like a pussy."
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I mean, that's pretty direct, and I like that.
It-
You knew where you stood with Ryan.
yeah.
Well,
You know, and it was just like,
yeah.
look, I want to be treated normal.
That's right.
Don't, my past is my past. I'm here to
Mhm.
play baseball.
Mhm.
And if I'm doing something wrong, tell me, you
Right.
know?
I want to get better. And so from that point, he did. He wanted to be yelled at. He did.
Yeah.
He wanted to, because he knew that if you yelled at somebody, that you cared.
Yeah.
That's the way he said.
More kids ought to know that.
Right?
And more kids need to know that.
Yeah, that's good for us if they want us to yell at them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. He understood that.
Yes.
He liked old school coaching anyway. You
Yeah.
know, he loved watching videos of, was it Augie
Garrido.
Garrido?
Mhm.
Love watching those, you
Right.
know? And they're edgy, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
you knew where you stood, you know?
You did, and we're in a day and age in coaching where, at least as coaches, we feel as though, because I come out of the old school,
Yeah.
where, I mean, possibly you need to watch that a little bit
Right.
because of
Sure.
things like social media
Yeah.
and things like that, and so we're probably more guarded than we used to be
Sure.
with some of that stuff.
Sure. I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I know I am.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is fair. Okay, I want you to tell everybody. I think I know a little bit, and maybe Steve, but maybe just our listeners about the team. You guys, I don't know what you call it, but like a motto, things that you guys play by. I always say attitude is everything, but you have like things that you say that don't be the victim. I want you to tell me what those are for your team, because I think that it's super great for all kinds of people, not just baseball.
Yeah, we developed what we call our program covenant,
Covenant.
and
That's what it is.
it's kind of a listing, and the players get to help design it. They have input into it. It changes just a tiny bit every year. Each group emphasizes maybe some things more than others, and there's some things that in there that are non-negotiable that we really harp on. But like I'd say one of the biggest ones in there is, I don't know if you'd call it a rule, but it's a way we operate, is you're not allowed to transfer blame.
Transfer blame. I love that.
And I think it came to life yesterday because we had a lot of negative things occur. We got off to a slow start. We threw a ball into center field that we shouldn't have thrown. We're down 2-0. Our starting pitcher's struggling. He's walking people. He's pitching behind in the count, and then throughout the game, there were a lot of calls that went against us and were, I believe, wrong.
Sure.
And our guys didn't allow that to be an excuse for losing. They overcame it multiple times, right?
Wow.
And we won 10-9. We hit a big home run in the 8th to put us up, and then our closer shut Rollins down in the
Which is number 17.
Yep.
Just have to add
That's
that.
right.
Oh, that's right, Anthony
Who got-
Durbano.
Who got the win
Yes,
yesterday?
got the
Yep.
win. Yes.
Yep.
I'll take 17 for the win. Thank you.
Yes, and so and I think that we have a motto that goes with that, is we got to win.
Yes.
If the sun's too bright, if the umpires are bad, if the field's bad, we got to win. Those things
Yep.
cannot be allowed to be a reason why we lost.
Right.
I love
Right.
that. I love those. I think that is so key to baseball, to anybody, just players in general. And how would you, I look at you because I know of a story that I wanted to kind of bring up because I thought it was awesome, but I don't know the whole story. But it was when Ryan, because I don't even know if you guys still do it, but it was when the freshmen sign up for the Mr. Mav.
Yeah, that was
I remember you texting
yeah,
me.
when you guys were talking about him getting here onto campus and how long he was here, the university puts on it's actually the training room does it, and they call it the Mr. Mav competition.
Do they still do it?
And I don't know if they did it this year.
I don't remember
I
hearing
don't
about
remember
it.
them doing it this
Okay.
year. But anyway, so Mr. Mav competition, athletes can sign up, and they do little skits and jokes and talents. It's basically a talent show for the athletes, and they get together. And usually, what happens is teams will send freshmen to do it. It's their first year to do
Oh
it.
yeah, a little
so,
hazing,
yeah,
little whatever you
well,
call
freshmen can do it. Yeah, I mean, I think that the older guys would be too cool for it
it. Oh,
probably,
100%.
whereas freshmen maybe want to be a part of it more. So, yeah, I remember. I'm trying to remember. There was one of them I hosted. I don't think I hosted that one. I had to talk at one of them. That wasn't very fun, but I think I was in the stands for that one. And anyway, Ryan, I mean, he was one of the selections for the baseball team, and yeah, he came out and he had. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, he was rollerblading.
Yep, he had roller
He
skates.
was
We got the call
he
from
was-
home about that.
he was
yeah.
rollerblading. They have a question and answer segment, and you have to do lines that you'd use to hit on someone.
Yep.
And his lines were fantastic. And anyway, and they have I don't know if it's a
talent.
swimsuit competition and a talent competition.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I very vividly remember, he won the competition.
He won the whole thing.
And I remember sending you a picture of him and saying, "Look what your son just did," and
Yeah,
how
and-
amazing it was.
Mind you, we went over, he got here in January. I think we had the kickoff dinner in February. I think he did that right after. He had only been here, altogether only 6 months. So that blows my mind that this kid, and probably nobody knew who he was, you know what I mean? Because one minute he has no hair and looks pasty white, and the next minute he looks super, healthy, and he's winning this Mr. Mav
Yeah.
thing that, he completely nailed, which was hilarious. And I'm not one bit surprised, because that is right in his element, in his world, because he's never embarrassed to do anything. But I just thought it was awesome to be in this group that he had never been in, but you could throw him in a situation and he just thrives. He just,
Yeah, it's fun too. I mean, it's in the Bronson Arena where the basketball team and volleyball teams play, and all all the student athletes come and sit in the stands and cheer, and it's just a really cool event, and it was awesome, because just like you said, he's not shy
no.
about anything, and
No.
so just for him to be able to fit in like that, but that's what he did. I mean, that's what he
Mhm.
did with our team. I'm sure that's what he did through high school and,
Yeah.
and everything else. And so he jumped right into that head first, just like he does everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really fun to see him do that and be able to tell you guys, look what your
Oh,
son's
yeah.
doing.
I know, which is awesome. And again, he felt normal. He
Yeah.
felt like he wasn't a cancer patient. He
Yeah.
felt like he could do something and nobody knew his background, which was something that he loved. So,
So let's
anyway,
fast forward. So he's here, redshirt freshman. He comes back in August, I believe, was reporting time, and you guys have the deal worked with the Challenger program for the buddies and the whole 9 yards. Ryan's selected to be a buddy. Gets back, doesn't feel good. What part of the story do you remember from that point?
Well, I remember him coming back and maybe having a cough and not feeling real well and being a little bit concerned, but it just seemed like a cold, but then it hung on, and uh, that's what I remember. And then it was, horrible news to hear that he needed to go back to the hospital. And, I think the leukemia developed, if I'm correct.
So while he's not feeling well, he's doing batting practice.
Yep.
He's doing wind
Yep.
sprints,
Yep.
ground balls, everything else. And was he ever complaining that he didn't
No,
feel good?
I remember saying, you don't need to do that. But again, he didn't want to be treated differently. But we knew something was wrong, and he'd been through a lot. But we also wanted to respect his wishes of, let me do this. I
Right.
want to feel normal, and I want to be treated the same. And so it was a little tough there, saying, yeah, no, don't go run.
Right.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
And he did it,
Yeah,
we gave him the option,
sure.
but told him he didn't need to.
sure.
But he never quit.
No,
Never quit.
not for a second.
So we remember that phone call like it was yesterday, and then we were at a family wedding and got in the car and drove all night to be here. And, Ryan's telling us, you don't need to come. It's not a big deal. But I just knew in my gut that we needed to be here. And
You guys were the ones that sat with him, because
Yeah.
it takes us 12 hours to get from California to here. And yeah, what thoughts about that? Any?
You go ahead, John.
Oh, you sat with him too.
Well,
I remember.
I remember when you first called me, I was actually in Arizona recruiting, coming home the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And so Coach Hanks was up there. He went up there immediately. I didn't get back till the next day, so I got to the hospital basically around when you guys did, I think, because I was at one of the events in Arizona recruiting, and
Mhm.
so that's when I remember you calling me, and I remember getting back, and Coach Hanks had been in the hospital with him, and then all of us going up to the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
remember
I remember that.
texting somebody like, don't leave him. Just
Yeah.
don't leave him. Like, we're going to be
Yeah.
there. Don't leave him. And because I think that was just you don't know. He's never been in the hospital here. I mean, he did have to get blood work. And when we came to the hospital, they knew what was wrong with Ryan and rushed us into the room. So, but yeah, you guys sat with him while we were
Mhm.
driving. So thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
And once we got the official diagnosis, I think somebody called all the boys to
Yeah,
the
right.
hospital at that point.
Because we knew we were going to be medevaced out of there within hours,
Yeah.
back to UCLA.
We do talk about that a lot
Yeah.
with the,
Well, that was a very special time because I know we were all asked to leave the room. So all of his teammates got there. They wheeled Ryan into the conference room or
Yep.
whatever it was. And I don't know what was said. I don't know if you guys know what was said to this day. I just know that when they said that we could all go back in afterwards, there wasn't a dry eye.
Yeah.
And it was a special time. It was a time where Ryan bonded with his teammates, which would end up being the last time.
Yep.
I mean, I think we all remember that, but I remember that meeting. I mean, I remember, Ryan kicking us all out, and us just kind of standing out there and with you guys and everyone, and just none of us were really talking. Obviously, just trying
Right.
to figure out, what's going on and feeling the feelings of what was happening. And yeah, I remember that. That was tough.
There
you know.
was no words.
There was no
Yeah.
words.
Absolutely no words.
It
And
was tough.
sometimes I appreciate that more than as we live our life now. People don't say the appropriate things. Sometimes I'm just happy with, nobody saying anything and just hugging and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a very hard moment, and I know for Ryan too, but he tried to put on a happy face for his team and yeah, while he was loading up on the airplane to go to
And you
New Zealand.
guys, that was a very successful
Year.
season for you guys.
Yeah.
It was. It was a
That
very
Ryan,
good team.
That Ryan was a part of.
Yep.
Regardless of him not being here, he was still a part of that. You guys made sure to include him. I mean, I know that you guys talked to him while he was in the hospital
Yep.
several times, and his teammates would call him, and there was FaceTimes, there was all that. You guys were very, very good about that, about keeping him included. But that team was a very special team that
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
and you guys ended up going to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll touch a little bit more about that. But
Well, one of the things, are you going to talk about the Metro when we?
well,
Okay.
I want to go back to when you knew he was going into ICU, because I think I called you and let you know. And this was now in
It was January 19th.
January 19th.
January 19th. That's when he went to ICU.
There was, I remember, and you'll have to help me with these, but I remember, after that team meeting and you guys left, we had the coaches convention coming up, and it happened to be in California. And so I remember that we were going to drive up that one night. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was about that time, but it ended up not working out. Like he just wasn't feeling good enough for us to come visit him.
Right.
But we had the rental car, we were in the hotel. We didn't have anything going on, and so we were going to drive up.
We were in Anaheim.
Yeah, we were in Anaheim. We ended up not coming, obviously, because he just didn't feel well enough. But I remember that time period and how we were sitting in the hotel room, like, we got to go up there, and we're waiting to see what you guys think. And when we weren't able to see him, we're like, that's all right. We'll see him again. And so I remember that time.
Yeah, and that was really hard for me because I remember I really wanted you guys to come, and he's the one that made the final thing. It was like, nope, no,
I'm not ready.
I'm
Wasn't
not ready.
Wasn't feeling good
And
enough.
it really was when he crashed, he crashed. That was the really hard part, is that he would feel really good because, we were in the hospital so long and isolated. So the first time was hard. It was 9 months, but we weren't completely isolated. Even though we were in the hospital for periods of time, we weren't isolated at this point. We were isolated to the room, could not go outside the room, I always say we did COVID before COVID because that's
Right.
what we did. I mean, it was brutal because he was super, like, his counts were super low, but maybe a week or 3 days prior to that he would be fine. So, and you kind of could know the time of the calendar. And so, do you remember the month that was? Was that January?
That was in January.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was in January
First-
because he had his
early
bone marrow
January.
transplant January 4th. And then he just wasn't.
Right.
Yeah,
Then we went to ICU.
on the
And-
19th of January.
Right. But then come February for your kickoff dinner, your leadoff dinner, we FaceTimed in. I remember because Ryan wanted to be a part of that, and he didn't have any energy to speak. He but he wanted to be part of that. And I'll never forget, he mustered up just enough energy to put the Maverick
Horns up.
the horns up. And I'll never forget that. Never forget
And
that.
I was really trying so hard to get a moment that you guys would remember that was a good, like just a good thing. And I think when I did the video, because I did the video and then Steve said a little bit, um, I didn't want him to get his face, but I think I ended up. Did you guys end up even watching that?
Yeah, we watched it.
Yeah.
Not at the kickoff dinner. I
No,
don't
we
think.
watched it. Yeah, no, I think that, like you're talking about trying to get a good memory of him, they were all good. I mean, even though obviously he was in a tough spot, I don't think with the way he was as a human being, there was ever a problem remembering him. It was incredible that he was able to do that then,
Mhm.
obviously going through what he's had gone through, but yeah, he just did a lot of special things with you guys, for our program, and that's one of them.
Yeah, that was a really hard one.
And then come March 4th, the dreaded March 4th, you guys were playing. Who are you playing? I don't remember.
I don't think they
I
played.
think we played Christian or
I
something. I
think
think it was
so.
Christian. I think it was called at home.
Colorado
It's
I've
Christian.
got
Colorado
it.
Christian.
I've got the lineup sheet and everything, and but you guys did something so special, and it's up on our house where you put Ryan in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I mean, I can tell you, I remember the night before with the team at the clubhouse. And then I remember we had the 17 strong T-shirts, the white T-shirts.
Yeah.
And I remember the entire team, we wore those for BP at Bergman before the game, and then we wore those during our in and out before the game. We all wore the white T-shirts.
Mm.
Yeah, that was, I mean, obviously a really hard time, but we always have special music that we play for in and out, and we did a silent one that day for Ryan,
Mm.
and it was so, yeah, I mean, just, 'cause the crack of the bat and everything and hearing the gloves pop, and it's just such a warming feeling in baseball, and it was so hard. I mean, I remember that day, obviously, a lot, all of us do, just how hard that was throwing. It was so hard to throw BP that day, with everyone in the white T-shirts, and then to hit in and out, and obviously what we did, and that was, yeah, that was a pretty heavy day.
And
Yeah.
who were you playing again?
We were playing Colorado Christian.
Colorado
I
Christian.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Just
Colorado.
everybody was so. They just were. They were so respectful because it wasn't just Colorado Christian that you played. Because I remember the Metro game.
When you guys went.
We
you
went
guys
there.
went to
went
Metro,
there.
and they honored Ryan with this jersey, and I just was blown away with the amount of support that was rallied around this area, this baseball program. Um, we just got so much love, and that we needed so badly. It's just it's a time that you don't want anybody to understand or to feel or to. But I think one of everybody that comes to us and talks to us, they just cannot say enough about that Ryan's service and all you guys allowed
Mm.
the players to come. And
That was amazing.
That was.
It just so happened to be that you guys were in Southern California already playing. You were playing. Was it Cal Baptist or were you at
Point Loma, wasn't it?
Point Loma.
Point Loma?
and it was a lot of juggling.
It was a lot of juggling.
And I didn't think it was going to happen. And we're like, I remember.
Well, the president of the school at the time, Dr. Foster, he said, no, I think he told you make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know the ADs were trying to work it out, and there was a lot of juggling, and they sent 2 bus drivers, I believe, so that you guys could pull that
Because there was
off.
a thing about the bus drivers could only drive.
Drive certain amount of hours in a day. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we traveled a lot of miles
Yeah.
to make that swing, and it was well worth it.
It was so meaningful not only to us, but
It was so impactful. People even today will tell me, how did you get those guys to line the aisle? Like, I go, I didn't. I had nothing to do with it. That's what they did. But just for them to be there and just it unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't remember a lot, but I do know that is one of the things that people come back and tell me, that it was just remarkable.
Yeah.
It was great just how it worked out that we were there, and we had the bus, and we were gonna play San Diego then after that, I believe, because we drove down after that
Yeah.
because we had to drive through LA and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, just how fortuitous it was for us to be there, and
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think we would have hopefully tried to find a way to get out there anyway,
Exactly,
but
but
we were
for the
there.
bus,
It was
for
it was
the
amazing.
players, for them to be in their,
It was
in their
perfect.
uniform, in their matching shirts, like, I can't tell you, if you think that's a little thing, it was huge.
It was huge.
It was beyond what we ever expected, and I just am super grateful.
And that team, I mean, I don't know all your teams. You've been doing this for a long time, but I remember that team being very close knit. There's still several members of that team that I'm either hunting with or
Yep.
they're part of our family now and they're having kids of their own, but they were all there for Ryan. I mean, even being at the game this week, some of them came up and, hey, how have you been? And,
Yeah.
good to see you. And I can't tell you all their names, but I recognize faces.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
they remember us, they remember Ryan. And that's just so special to us because that was just a very special team. And that team went on to, was it Cary or was
Grand
it
Prairie,
Grand
Texas.
Prairie?
That was the
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Like, we never had, the
Yeah.
World Series in Grand Prairie,
But,
Texas.
but we went there and you guys finished second. I believe. Third. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
a remarkable team,
It
a
really
remarkable
was.
year.
Well, yeah, and it was the best team in that tournament too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got beat 1-0 in the semifinal, and the team that beat us won the national title.
Yeah. And that's baseball. That's
Yeah, it
the
is.
way it, that's the way it
Right.
goes. But you guys
That's the way it
were
goes.
so genuine, honored Ryan with a ring.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing.
That was a very proud papa moment for me because, he would have wore that ring with pride. And, we honor that. And so thank you for that. But we went on. You've lost. We lost Tonio Lopez, which was well before Ryan's time. But he was not during baseball, correct? He was after, or was it during a season?
Well, it was a week after our last game. We had won the conference tournament, and at that time, there wasn't an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament for winning the tournament, and we weren't selected. It was, to this day, I think that team got robbed of going. That's my opinion. The next week, he lost his life in an auto accident. Had we been in the tournament, we would have been somewhere playing. He wouldn't have been home.
Right.
So that was a week after the season, and I had to speak at his funeral. His folks, Paul and Trudy, are my son Jared's godparents. We obviously became very close through all that. And so that was a tough one.
We've got to meet them. They're amazing people.
Amazing.
Yes, yeah.
And so you've lost two players or more, Ryan and Tony.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, you shouldn't have to lose any.
No.
But both of those players have a scholarship.
Yep.
They're both endowed through the university, and they're not going anywhere, and that makes us happy.
Oh, yeah.
So
for sure.
here it's the Ryan Teixeira baseball scholarship goes to a baseball player.
Yep.
$1,700, of course, if we're going to have that,
Yeah.
that number in there.
Yeah.
And then hopefully as that grows, we can do more and more.
Yeah.
But you guys have also continued a tradition, and you've made the wearing of 17 special. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, well, the guy who has the scholarship gets to wear that number, and it's a powerful number, and we still use it as the guys still use it as a breakdown call. We say 17 strong when we break a huddle to this day, and all the players since Ryan have learned about him, have talked obviously with you guys. We've told them, and teammates from that era have shared with them Ryan's story, and we show them the picture in his high school uniform And we always remind him that he said attitude is everything.
Yeah.
And so it still perpetuates.
Did you ever hear Ryan talk about 17 Strong? Did he ever say anything?
Not really to me, no.
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't.
Because that wasn't like him.
He didn't.
It
I'm
wasn't like him.
waiting for the somebody to say yes, because he really didn't. Because it was already established. It was already established in 2016. So he had already decided this is what he was wanting to do, and obviously it was going to look different. He was going to fund it. He was going to be the face of it, and now that's obviously not what's happening. But so he had already had this vision way before, but we obviously couldn't do anything with it because he got re-diagnosed. He got sick. So we felt like 2017 was the best year to do it. And
Right.
so now his legacy lives on. And honestly, I could say he's changing lives even today. I
Yeah.
see it every day, and it's amazing.
We've granted several victory trips from Grand
from here.
Junction and Colorado in general. In fact, you had referred somebody from.
Yep.
I don't even know how the relationship, but we've had referrals from you guys,
Yep.
and it's just amazing the outpouring of support still to this day for 17 Strong from the community of Grand Junction. I mean, we're proud supporters of the baseball program. I'm looking forward to the day that our sign's up there, just underneath the clock,
That's right.
Yeah.
so that when all these future people walk through these gates, they go, "What's
What
17
is it?
Strong?"
Let me look it up. Let me figure it out. Yeah.
And that we can have that conversation. And
For
the
sure.
people at the sign company that you work with have been so gracious to us to donate the sign and everything else. And we're honored. We're humbled
I am very humbled.
that we consider you guys family. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Do you want to wrap it up and say, I do want one more thing. I want to know a favorite memory, because I really feel like everybody has a favorite memory of Ryan, and then we'll wrap it up.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I'll just say, oh boy,
I know.
I'll say because we brought it up today, that the Mr. Mav thing was such a great moment, because it was, like you just talked about victory trips. I mean, it was him being back. I mean, he was back. He was healthy. He was doing it. He was getting involved. He was inserting himself into the culture of the school. And
Yeah.
I do really remember that night and texting you, and that was just really special, because I felt like he was where he wanted to be and needed to be. And I knew he felt good in that moment. So
Oh, and yes, absolutely. And then a little bit more to that. He didn't even tell me that he won. He never even told me.
That's
I was
probably
like, isn't that
sounds like him.
typical?
He wouldn't let
So-
us watch the video
Yeah,
because of
sounds
those
like-
pickup lines. He goes,
Yeah.
"Mom, you can't hear those pickup lines."
Yeah, the pickup lines were great.
They were great, I'm sure.
were
I don't know what they were,
fantastic.
but
They were
that's okay.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up telling him, I already know that you won the Mr. Maverick thing. And he's like, oh man, it was great. I did this and that. And, and Garrett showed me some pictures when he was actually roller skating.
Yeah, it was special.
And
That
he
was a
almost
special
like
night.
he pulled somebody out of the audience and jumped over her. And mind you, like his Ewing's was in his leg. I'm like, you don't even know how to roller skate well. And he's like, I know, I just did it.
It was great. It was great. So that was a fun
And
night.
it was great.
It was inspiring.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite memory?
My memory was sitting in the office and getting a phone call, and the gentleman on the other end says, "Coach, you don't know me. My name's John Savage." And I said, "I know who you are, John." And he said, and he just said, "I got to tell you, I met the most amazing person today, and he's one of your players." And I said, "You met Ryan?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he just went on and on and on, and we ended up talking on the phone for an hour. And to this day, I keep some contact with John, and I saw him at the convention in January, and yelled across, "John, hey, how you doing?" And he asked about you guys, and so yeah, that was probably we met each other because of Ryan.
Yeah.
And then we had a lot, and he wanted to know even more about Ryan since we had been around him more, And I mean, it was just a real easy conversation.
Yeah, he's an amazing man. He
Yeah, he
spent
is.
a lot of time with Ryan in the hospital and invited Ryan to practice time and even a game or two.
Yeah, he went to a game and spoke. Ryan spoke to their players
Oh, wow.
about just
Yeah.
I
encouragement.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he talked to the players, and Ryan had played at that team on the team that you had scouted.
The
The
Cardinals.
Cardinals. It was the Cardinals at the
Cardinals
time.
back
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Yeah, and so he just had him come out, and he said, "I want this," and he was in the middle of treatment then,
Yeah.
and he
But he knew
just
some of the boys because he played with them on the Cardinals.
Yep. And
So-
so, yeah, he just encouraged them that, enjoy every moment and what Ryan does best, just to encourage everybody. So that was neat. And John just he had a way of getting him, just to feel better about
Right.
himself and feel normal. So I love that story.
Coaches, we can't thank you enough. This has been amazing. So thank you for what you guys do for developing these men to be pillars of society. And you guys do an amazing job. We love your program. We are not going anywhere.
Yep.
So it is 17 strong here for a long, long time.
Yep.
And we're honored to be part of this program. So thank you both very much for being
Thank
here.
you.
And anything else before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it.
Well, you said it before, but as Ryan always said, attitude is everything.
Yep. Thank you guys. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys.
You've been listening to 17 Strong. Victories don't come by accident. To be part of the show, make a donation, or request more information, go to 17strong.org. That's SEVENTEEN strong.org.